Thank you to every student, parent, teacher, and legislator who cares enough about the future of our students in public education to be here today. We stand this week on the cusp of finding out the fate of some 4,000 high school students, seniors who have spent the last year in an at-risk purgatory, not knowing whether or not they'll be able to receive a high school diploma. Public policy is at its best when it's visionary and not reactionary. And I'm proud to stand with leaders who've been fighting to change the high-stakes testing policy for long before we knew how many students' futures hung in the balance. We have asked the Department of Ed for waiver guidelines for over a year now. And with graduation less than 5 months away, the future of many students remains unknown. We wish to create a policy that is fair, consistent, and well thought out, which is why we're here today offering solutions and not endorsing the piecemeal policies RIDE has been dribbling out over the last few months. We are here because we know our students are not guinea pigs. Their lives are not some experiment to be thrown away in a lab. These are real people facing dwindling opportunities. And RIDE's full steam ahead policies will have real and lasting consequences for the rest of their lives. As a legislator, I've been troubled by the inconsistency demonstrated by RIDE's recent announcements. Take, for example, the guidelines that students attending CCRI will be subject to the NECAP requirement, while students accepted at other colleges will not. As someone who knew as a high school student, as a high school senior, that my recently divorced parents would not be contributing to my college education the way they did for my older siblings, the only option I had was to attend community college at a fraction of the cost. And like many of my former classmates, we also knew that it was a smart start to complete 2 years at an affordable institution and to transfer to a different institute beyond that. Now, what options do seniors who have made a decision based on their ability to afford an education have left? I've spent time in 5 different schools in my community, engaging with parents, teachers, and PTOs. And last week, I met with my school superintendent. The themes that appeared through the many hours of my conversations with people involved in the education system have been stark. Learning has taken a backseat to test preparation. The culture of the classroom has changed dramatically, and the quality of education suffers. This is an experiment that has no winners. The stakes are too high, the payoff uncertain, and the risk too big for our students to bear. It's more clear to me now than ever that we cannot count on the Commissioner or the Board of Education to address the serious concerns surrounding high-stakes testing, and that we as legislators must exert our authority to ensure that the future of our students is not devastated by these inconsistent and arbitrary policies. I'm pleased to say that many of my fellow representatives and senators have developed comprehensive, thoughtful responses to the widespread uncertainty inflicted upon the high-stakes testing graduation requirement and the implementation of the PARCC testing. In particular, I'd like to bring your attention to several pieces of legislation that are being introduced to help bring joy, wonder, and real student-centered learning back to the classroom. Thanks to the leadership of Representative Eileen Naughton and Senator Harold Nitz, we'll be hearing a bill that returns testing to its original purpose as a diagnostic tool to help us better support students by banning the use of high-stakes testing, so teachers once again can focus on engaging students rather than teaching to the test. Senator Adam Satchel and Representative Maria Samini are introducing a 5-year moratorium on the use of high-stakes testing, so that instead of risking our students with an unproven experiment, we can evaluate the process, identify the gaps, provide districts the proper resources to fill those gaps, and make certain that the test we are using fully aligns to the curriculum. Massachusetts went through a 10-year process prior to implementing their testing process, and I think that's a lesson that we can learn from. Representative Amore has created a commission that would provide the necessary oversight to the implementation of our new curriculum, the Common Core, and make certain that we have appropriately prepared our students, and truly provided them the right tools to be ready for a life beyond the 12th grade. And finally, we'll be introducing a bill not every child is going to be a mathematician or an engineer, and some just don't bloom until they reach their 20s. But artists, mechanics, and nurses' aides, and journalists all have value and provide value and worth to our economy. I want to encourage every legislator here to heed the words of our youth and to consider supporting these pieces of legislation. We have a lot of work to do to transform our education system and to ensure we are preparing every child for success. And fixing this ill-conceived